There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the f*** out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead. That's on you. And it's also on you to leave. It's on you to make sure that further damage, further loss of life and injury is not done.
Most sane leaders in the immediate aftermath of a tragedy or a crisis, they try to bring the community together. They try to offer words of hope and solace. But instead, no, here, what Minneapolis Mayor Frey is doing is pouring gasoline on the fire. And you know what? He was very successful. The crowds protesting turned violent. It was looking like it was on the verge of a riot. I'll show you footage later on where they were throwing ice and snowballs at the officers who were trying to flee the scene. But again, where is the wisdom in all of this? Not only was he abrasive in that speech, but he compared ICE, legal federal law enforcement who are trying to protect citizens like you and I, he compared them to terrorists. When you're saying that they're terrorizing community, you're calling law enforcement terrorists. So you are actively making this situation worse instead of trying to calm the storm here. Now, in case you missed it or you're just turning on the news for the first time, there was a woman who was shot and killed by ICE because she appeared to be attempting to run over one of the ICE agents. So this clearly, it appears on the surface at least, that this was an act of self-defense. Of course, there's going to be an investigation and this is going to be in the news for a long time. But the Democrats are claiming that ICE shot this woman unprovoked, right? They've been pushing this narrative that President Trump is the next Hitler, he's a dictator, and ICE is his secret police force that he's going to use to take over America, right? This is the narrative that the left has been pushing ever since President Trump came down that golden escalator in 2015. And finally, they have some proof that what they've been warning us is coming to pass. And that's what you see in Minneapolis. So immediately after this happened, there were people taking to the streets, protesting this lady's death, protesting ICE, and they were actually burning American flags. So this shows you how politicized this moment has become.
Bob, I want to jump in here. I want to ask you where you're at right now. And we're seeing the images on the screen. There's that flag you were talking about being burned here. What kind of things are they shouting? The crowd that's out there. I know they're obviously not happy ICE is there. They've been talking about that. What are they saying? You know, what's the energy like where you are right now?
So that's one reason why I'm not getting too close so I can hear all of you, because it is loud out here. It's profanities, a lot of profanities against ICE.
So as you can see, a lot of chaos, a lot of mayhem, and things actually got worse as the afternoon went on. I have tons of video clips that I'm going to share with you, but this all goes back to Mayor Frey. This goes back to Governor Walz, because as the leaders of that state, as the leaders of that community, they do have a duty to try to calm things down, bring people together, like I said, offer words of hope and encouragement, but instead, no, they're throwing gasoline on the fire, and they're actually proactively lying about what happened. And that's what's leading to these crowds going restless. And like I said, it looked like it was on the verge of a riot. Take a look. This is a bird's eye view from the helicopter of the crowds chasing out ICE and local law enforcement.
For the 2:15 press conference, let's go back to this because it looks like for the first time. Okay, it looks like they are throwing snowballs as the officers are leaving. So again, I believe it was a state patrol, and we did see some MPD officers who were leaving that scene. Hennepin County telling us that their sheriff's deputies have not been on that scene, but it looks like as officers are leaving the scene, just having some protesters or bystanders, agitators, throwing some snowballs at them as they leave. We saw this earlier.
We did. Well. Yep, we saw this exact thing earlier, and this was targeted toward ICE agents at that particular time. But now, as you mentioned, this is MPD, BCA was on scene, the sheriff's department as well. And as this street is opening up here, you can see a lot of these protesters, these people in the community responding to this. And now we're having an aerial view here of what we have been seeing, what we did see earlier.
I just want to point out that if the police were really as dangerous as the leftists are claiming, I mean, take a look at all of the agitation that's happening, all of the aggression coming from the protesters. If they're as evil as what Mayor Frey and Governor Walz is saying, why aren't they opening fire on the crowd? They're showing a lot of restraint, showing a lot of patience. If anything, they're trying to leave peacefully and keep the situation from getting even worse. Now, the reason this lady was even shot and killed was because she was somewhere she really shouldn't have been in the first place. ICE was doing a raid. They were carrying out their constitutional, their legal duties. And as we've seen over the last year, leftists have been coming out of the woodwork and they've been protesting, or in some cases, actually trying to interfere and impede ICE from doing its job. Now, it appears that this lady was not actually a protester. It looked like, based on early reports, right, because we're still in the fog of war, so to speak, and we're going to get more details as the investigation goes on. It appears she was there as a legal observer, so basically people who go there with video cameras to document what's going on. But ICE told her to get out of the vehicle, and she actually started, accelerating towards an ICE agent before he ended up shooting her. That's what happened. And so it looks like a very clear-cut case of self-defense, but that is not what Mayor Frey is saying.
They are not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed.
Unfortunately, it's not just Mayor Frey. Governor Tim Walz himself weighed in. He wrote, "I've seen the video. Don't believe this propaganda machine. The state will ensure there is a full, fair, and expeditious investigation to ensure accountability and justice." Yeah, like the investigation you did into Somali fraud. I'm sure the results will be very stunning. Of course, the leftist influencers, well, they've gotten their marching orders and they're all taking to social media to basically call this, violence from the Trump administration. But there's just one problem. The footage shows something else. So this is the main piece that's going viral on social media, and this is the one angle that the Democrats want you to see.
What the f? Dude, what the f?
So obviously from that angle, it's hard to see anything. It's so far back and it's not the best angle. But if you do zoom in, it's very clear. You can see there is an ICE agent right in front of the vehicle. You can see he's pulling out his weapon. Keep in mind too, like I referenced earlier in the video, this is the backdrop of ICE agents being targeted. We saw that all over the year, last year, all over the country, where ICE agents were not just targeted as they were doing their jobs, but to the point where even facilities were shot at. So, they have every right to be watching their back, especially with the media and top Democrat leaders whipping the base up into a frenzy. But it's not just that angle. There are now numerous angles coming out, and this one shows our clearest indication yet of what actually happened. So I've actually zoomed this in a few times, and here you can see it's really clear that the officer was right in front of her vehicle as she begins accelerating. Now, the reason she ended up running into another car, she had obviously been shot at that point, and that's why she ended up ramming that other vehicle. Now, there are going to be a lot of questions about whether or not what that ICE agent did is appropriate. But if you actually even go back before this incident happened, we can take a look at the buildup. And the ICE officers actually gave her a direction to come out, to step out of her vehicle. She did not comply with law enforcement. I don't know about you, but I was raised not just by my parents, but by society to always be respectful towards officers and to follow what they tell you. And they were very clear, hey, get out of your car, get out of your car. And she did not do that. Take a look at this. So you can see there, they told her multiple times, get out of the car. And like I said, she appears, based on the reporting right now, to have been a legal observer of what was happening. So it's not as if she lived in the neighborhood and she was trying to leave and this was a misunderstanding, nor does it appear that she was an actual protester they were trying to cause agitation. But at the end of the day, this is really sad because this could have been avoided if the Democrats, if the media actually told the truth, if they decided to report fairly on the administration instead of fear-mongering and whipping up everyone into paranoia and anger. I mean, just let's put things into perspective, right? This is from the Washington Post, middle of last year. Trump is deporting fewer people than Barack Obama. He's just louder and meaner. Now, the reason I point that up, and I get things have changed with ICE over the last few months. They're trying to recruit more people. And they're trying to step up deportations. But the reason I bring that up is, again, the narrative that the left and the media, the Democrats, have all pushed that President Trump is a racist, evil dictator, that ICE is out of control, that he's taken it to a whole new level. And yet you take a look at the numbers. They speak for themselves. Barack Obama did much worse. Where were these protests under Barack Obama? Where were people comparing ICE under Barack Obama to the Gestapo? Where were these illegal observers? Where were the people trying to impede and obstruct law enforcement, federal workers from doing their jobs? None of that happened under Barack Obama. Why? Because the media, they didn't cover it. They didn't whip people up into a frenzy. Meanwhile, under President Trump, you have different forces trying to cause people to be paranoid, trying to cause people to hate ICE and act out. And this, unfortunately, is what happens. Last but not least, there is another slowed down angle, and it shows the car actually accelerating towards the agent before he even fires. The audio is weird, obviously, because it's slowed down, but you can see the car starts moving. He pulls his gun out and he fires immediately. That is quick thinking. And again, you have to take the context of the present time and what's going on. ICE agents are under attack. They've been targeted. They're fearing for their lives. They have to quite literally look over their shoulders. And so it makes sense that he would act as quickly as he did. He didn't know if she was going to charge full speed ahead at him. But all of this doesn't matter to Mayor Frey. It doesn't matter to Governor Walz. They now have their talking points. And that's why leftist agitators are popping up all over the city, and I fear will be popping up around the country. But some of these protesters are learning the hard way that it is a bad idea to mess around with ICE. But before we get to those video clips, I would like to thank the members of today's Governor's Club. They are Trihun, Moon Fairy, Shadow Brown, Siwachan, Dragon, and Jenny Rankin. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you enjoy. Well, immediately after this happened, more and more protesters kept coming out, and they started actually surrounding ICE agents and wouldn't let them leave. There was a lot of intimidation going on.
Murder someone! You're murderer! You fucking asshole! Go the fuck!
So terrible things are being shouted at them, and as you can see, they're backed against a fence. The crowd is surrounding them, and they're using pepper spray and whatever means they can to try to get the crowd to calm down, back away, and not make the situation get worse. Well, as the crowd started getting larger, as the afternoon went on, a man learned the hard way that it is a bad idea to attempt to steal a weapon from law enforcement.
Get back! Get back! Let go! Bro! Let go! Whoa! Kill someone else! Go for it! Kill someone else!
That is a case of FAFO if I've ever seen one. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. This is what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So what do you think? Do you think that this is going to be George Floyd 2.0? Are the Democrats going to seize this moment and try to use it to create protests, if not riots, nationwide? Or do you think this is just a blip on the radar and it'll be forgotten by this time next week? Let me know your predictions down in the comments below. Personally, I can see this going either either way. I could see it really accelerating and taking off just because it appears that the Democrats need some sort of pressure valve. They need some sort of way to express their anger, if not hatred, for the administration, whether it's what's happening with the Epstein files or Venezuela. I feel like there's just a whole bunch of resentment and they need to express it somehow. And we all know the Democrats' favorite statement: never let a good crisis go to waste. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a repeat of the 2020 Summer of Love, but time will tell. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.